Hey everybody, we're going to do No Rain by Melon this time around. I've already looked at the solo, so you can check out a lesson on that, separate from this one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the acoustic guitar parts, and then so cover the whole song on acoustic, and then we'll go back and look at like the electric lead parts that we need to look at. Alright, so let's get into this song. We're in standard tuning. The intro is fairly simple on acoustic. What we're going to do is basically hold out just some strummed E chords. So the lead guitar does the melodic figure like that, and so that's got some pickup notes to that. So when they play the downbeat with the E note, we're going to strum a big E chord, and we're going to roll the chord like that, and that's going to hold for 2 measures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the last 8th note of that, I guess it's the 4th bar of the song, we're going to just do like a little 8th note like that. That's what he does. And then the next figure that we're going to get is we're going to be playing Barre Chords. So 4-string chords with the root on the 5th string. So here's E and then D. So it's like a little Mixolydian vamp. So we get this. So it's a loosely improvised rhythm figure, and what we get is rest, and then we're going to play a quarter note, and then generally what we have is a tie to another 8th note, so we get this. So, like I said, it's improvised, so you just want to get the general feel of the groove going, and you can kind of play around with that. So the things that you want to make sure are happening are the rest quarter note, and then the D note always comes in on the end of 4, or D chord rather. And in the 2nd bar, on beat 2, that the and of 2 is usually tied over to beat 3. So those are the things that need to be there. And otherwise, the rest can be loosely improvised. So that's what I played just now, is exactly note for note what he plays on the record. Okay, so now, so that's pretty much the verse part. Now we're into a chorus. Again, we're in E, and what we're going to do, we're going to switch to some open chords instead of bar chords. So we'll look at that next. So I'll play the chorus now. It's what I played at the beginning of the lesson. So it goes like this. So again, it's the same type of deal. He's got like a basic idea in mind, and then loosely improvises around that idea. So here what we have, the rhythm is like, so it's like a 1, 2, and I'll just kind of sing it out like bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. That kind of a rhythm. So, and then he's kind of loosely improvising around that. So in terms of chords, we have an open E. Then we've got D, and we're gonna need our D sus4 too. All right. Now, when I'm playing in the key of E, our next chord is an A chord. And so when I'm playing the key of E or A or D or E Mixolydian, it's easiest to play your A chord like that, at least for me anyway, because you have this first finger that is staying on the third string for your both your D, your A, and your E chord. So it just makes those chord changes a little bit more easy on the hands. All right, so yeah, and then so we've got the A chord and then a G chord at the end. And now this one has the open B in it, as opposed to fretting the third fret to get a D note. So again, to play it, I'll play it at tempo, then play it slow. Sorry, I neglected to mention the last chord we need. It's E7, so all we're going to do is play a regular E chord and then add the pinky finger into the mix here on the third fret. So to get go through this chorus part slowly, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now that progression repeats again, and since he's improvising, it's going to be just a little bit different. What I'll do is I'll play exactly, I transcribed what's on the record, so I'll just play that for you so you can see how he chose to throw some variety in. So let's look at that. So now we're still in the first chorus, and this is the second half. Slowly. So, if I had to make some observations about, comparing and contrast the first time to the second time is slightly a little bit fancier. Like, if we look at the D chord part, there's more of the but like syncopated type rhythms that he does over the D chord. So the like rest and then eighth note type figure, and then that happens. It happens again over the G chord. So we get. So, and then over the E to E7 thing, so he's doing, which is a little bit more fancy than, so yeah, it's just a little bit fancier, I guess I would say. So maybe keep the first time through a little bit more simplistic, and then maybe make it a little bit fancier the second time through as you're gaining momentum and building towards this release, which is just a strummed E chord where the vocals are going through the sane, it's not sane part. So we just hold that for 4 beats, and then 3.5 beats, and sort of like the intro. On the last 8th note of the second bar there, we get the little type deal, little 8th note strum. And then we're back into the... and we're going to do that idea 4 times. So that's a 2-bar thing, and we're playing 4 times for a total of 8 bars. Okay, then let's move on from there. So then what we have next is another chorus, and we're going to play that chorus the same way like we did the first one. So maybe, first time through, keep it a little simple. Second time through, play maybe a little bit more fancy. So what happens after the chorus is we have the strummed E chord But this time around, we're going to hold it, so we're going to strum, hold it for 2 bars, and then the vocals do the escape thing longer this time. So we're going to strum the chord and hold it for 2 more bars, and then after that we're going to strum it again, hold it for a bar, and then in the following bar is where we get the 8th note on the final 8th note of that measure on the end of 4. And then we're into the guitar solo. So I've covered the guitar solo already, so look at the lead parts for that in the other lesson. Just as a recap though on the rhythm, we're going to do the verse part, like that 4 times. So that's what we get. And then what we have is a chorus. But this chorus it's played like really low dynamically. So rhythmically very sparse and dynamically kind of quiet. So what we're going to get for this chorus, we're just going to strum an E chord with like a rolled type deal. Hold that for a measure. Then we're going to rest for a measure. And what we're going to do next is play our D chord with a little roll for 2 beats and then rest. Alright, and then we're going to rest for the full next measure. And then we're going to strum our A chord with a roll and hold that for measure. And then over the G chord we get this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So slowly, 3, 4. So it's a syncopated thing with some rests in there. Alright, let's move on to the next little rhythm we have. So what happens next is, we return to the E chord in the progression, but what he's doing here is just like this low E5 power chord, just to really bare bones thing. So that holds for a bar, then we rest for a bar, and then we get the E chord rolled, and we're going to hold that for 2 bars, and then we're going to roll that chord again, hold it for a bar, and then the following bar is where we get the 8th note on the end of the measure. So it's just kind of, my advice through these sections like this is just knowing dynamically what to do and knowing what the vocal does, and that'll be your cue as to what to do on acoustic guitar. So for songs like this, I try to be aware of what's going on vocally, just as much as I'm aware of what I should be doing on guitar, because that's all you're really doing is supporting that vocal line and honing into that. Okay, so let's talk about where we go next with the song. So what we have next is the final verse. Now this verse gets extended longer. So we're going to play the 4-bar thing, the 4 times, and then we are going to keep going with it like this. So it does it, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We do the riff an additional 4 times. So really the verse is twice as long. And then what we get is this kind of like real soft and sparse rhythm. So that's 3, 4, rest. Like so. Okay. So the sparse riff, so that's it at tempo. So you've got rest, quarter note, 2/8, then an 8th rest, and then the D is anticipated. 2, 3, 4. So that happens 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then the rest of the time this guitar part is resting, and it's just, you know, the rest of the band's playing. There's 4 more bars to the song, but we are out. We're just resting. So that's it for the acoustic guitar part in this song. And I'll probably break this up into a 2-part lesson thing. So the electric guitar parts will be in a separate lesson. Alright, thanks for watching.